Ongarbayev versus Irakli Zirakashvili. That's another
Ooh.
huge match. Huge match. I
You
think.
know, I see this one. I don't see this close. I guess maybe it's not to take anything away from Iraqi. I just see Angrabayev as the cream of the crop top rope. And this is where like the two creams of the crop meet, right? And the common denominator is the Brzenk match, right? Where we saw John take Irakli's wrist, and we saw Angrabayev take John's wrist. So I don't like those scenarios where you say puller A, puller B, but I just think that Angrabayev is like the best and most complete top roller that we may ever see in the sport of armor. I think he's that good, you know. And like, to be honest with you, I I don't think an outside move is the way to beat this guy. Like, you have to be that much of a committed hooker to be able to turn him there where he's uncomfortable, and he can still pull inside. So, I mean, I think that Irakli is like on such a great upward trajectory, and he just got like a career highlight win over John. But I think what we saw out of Angarbayev in the Michael Todd match, I mean, like, it was like watching ice dancing, the way he transitioned, the way he recovered. Just, the Kazakhs have such a professional approach to the sport, and they're so technical. And he's the poster boy for him. I see this as I see Angarbayev as a heavy favorite, and mainly that's based off of style. But I'm not going to count Irakli out because of the level of heart he showed against John, like the commitment in those weird areas and stuff. He's clearly getting better. But again, this is him pushing his himself to get bigger for this match. He's still not pulling at, I don't think that Irakli's most efficient weight is up there at that 115 mark. I think he's a big dude. He's much larger than you would expect in real life, like when you meet him in real life. But I just Angarbayev's tall, and he's like lean and lanky. Like, he's just so built for that weight. I have him as a heavy favorite. I'll probably be rooting for Irakli though. I'll be rooting for the Georgians as much as I can. But yeah, I think Angarbayev clear
So in this
favorite.
match, I'm going back with the like basic predictions, like I used to predict matches. Ongarbayev top rolled John. John top rolled Irakli. Irakli beat John with a flop press. I don't think Ongarbayev is beatable with a flop press. Like Michael did it once, but Michael
Yeah,
Todd has a
and
special,
yeah,
special shoulder
you're
press
right.
move.
But you saying that right there, just like that, is good enough as like a quantification.
Yeah,
Like, I'm digging even deeper into it, like the weight gain and all these other different
yeah.
things.
Don't look at that.
But the reality is, it really comes back to that. Like, if John can take Irakli's wrist, and Angarbayev can take John's wrist, and why would Angarbayev not be able to take
Yeah.
Irakli's wrist? I mean,
And Ongarbayev, the thing is that Ongarbayev doesn't look like a guy who can lose to a flop press.
mhm.
That's another thing.
Yeah, he's got a heart and a gas tank.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's technical too, so he's going to make the adjustments to get his shoulder back. He's not going to open his own arm for you.
So Paulin
Gain some
versus
weight.
Sasho Andreev.
Yep.
What
Never
are the
know.
things that make you feel confident in this match? Like the things that you have noticed or analyzed so far.
I think that I'm just in my own personal best form. I'm worried about me.
Okay.
I'm not, like, we know Sasha's in good shape. There's no like looming thing of like, oh, Rustom's making a comeback. And then in the back of my head, I'm thinking, well, what version of him am I getting? And then I'm battling with that thought of like, okay, like, do I just want to win and get a bad version of him, or do I want the best version of him and beat him, and then have people still say, it might not have been the best version? Like, to me, that like, it was an awesome opportunity, but also kind of a trap. And I've been in that situation here a couple times, and this is the litmus test. This is the current world champion who's been active and seems basically immortal at that weight. So when you're preparing for that guy, you can only worry about yourself. And I have to. I tweak some things in training. I've really tracked my diet. Like, everything's been on point, and I'm healthy, and I feel on the table. I feel notably stronger against my barometers, and I've gotten to pull with some different guys, and I'm going to get to pull with Brandon and a bunch of guys at the qualifier coming up here this weekend, and then I'm going to travel to Todd Hutchins, and I'm going to pick his brain about his match with SASHO, and then let's see what he thinks when he feels what I have, and hopefully gain some information there. That's all I can do is bring the best version of myself and then leave it on the table. So that's what I'm going to do, and as long as good Lord willing, we'll stay healthy in the next 2 weeks, and we'll come over there and be the best version of me, and then I see where I stack up. Limited data. So the question is, have I been able to develop a lane in the time of prep, or is it not enough? We'll see. And I can't worry about SASHO because I know he's going to come in good form. I've seen pictures, and I've talked to some people over there, and I know he's training his ass off. So I mean, to me, that's the most respect I can get from somebody. If somebody's going and doing double days in preparation for me, thank you.
Yeah. And coming back to Toddzilla for a second, about a year ago, I was saying that Toddzilla is like unbeatable in this position, but he may not be so strong in this defensive hook position. And then I realized I've never seen Todd in this defensive hook position. He's never been. There can be two reasons for that. Like his side pressure is way too much to get him here, and if somebody gets him here, like his wrist becomes even more vulnerable that he gets top rolled, even if the other guy doesn't want to top roll him. So that's why we have never seen Todd in this position. But if you are able to get there, and I'm sure you have watched his 2022 WAF matches, I'm talking about SASHO now. He was easing people down to the pad, like the way you beat beginners so that they don't get hurt. He was holding
Yeah.
people right in center
Yeah.
and then easing them down to the pad in a WAF tournament. Like
Yeah.
that was one of the most amazing
Yeah,
things.
he's so dominant, and it's funny because some of the looser followers of the sport don't know how good he is. You see some of the polls over here will have me as a favorite, and you guys don't know. I'm not the favorite, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Odds are meant to be broken.
Kuvardo is saying that he is 163 centimeter. So it's not even 5'5", like 5'6". Like how tall is?
And I heard he's 5'5". That's maybe slightly under.
Yeah,
So
5'4".
that's
163 is basically 5'4".
yeah. So there's going to be a big height disparity, but the reality of it is he has found a way to be so good at protecting his hand. It's so efficient at chopping down that like you said, he's pretty much untoppable.
Yeah.
I don't think that I think that there are lanes for what would be considered a top roll. I just don't think that there is a lane that is going to actually compromise his wrist. So that's kind of where my thought process is without giving up game plans and everything. There's intermediate positions between the two moves. And I think if I'm going to have some success, it's going to have to be in one of those intermediate areas.